Let's go through the three types of report you will likely encounter in the IGCSE English as a Second Language exam. Welcome to English Step by Step. My name is Miss Wee, and today we will be doing the three types of report. The first type of report would be to report on an event that took place. So it could be a competition, work experience, a school trip, a festival, etc. Number two, we could be asked to report on a facility of some sort, maybe the school library, the canteen, and so on. And this is quite rare. Reporting on a problem, so it could be noise or lateness or whatever. The most common type of question would be type 1. Most of it will be this type. These two are very unusual. If you report on an event that had already taken place, then you would obviously use past tense. If you are reporting on a facility that still exists, then you would use present tense. If you are reporting on a problem that again still exists, you would use present tense again. I have a video on the different tenses that you should use for the different directed writing for report, review, essay, and article. So please click on the link up here to get there. Let's start with type 1, which is reporting on an event that took place, either a competition, work experience, school trip, festival, or whatever. And remember to use past tense for the first part of the report. For the second part, we will be using modal verbs. So here we have a question that I already did in another video. So if you want to go to that video, please click on the link up here. So your class recently took part. Immediately you can see past tense already. So you know that you have to use past tense in your report because this is a one-day sports festival for local schools that had already taken place. The organizers want students' opinions about the sports festival, and you have been asked to write a report. In your report, say what was enjoyable past tense about the sports festival and suggest how it could be improved modal verb. Please go to the video that specifically teaches you what tense to use for the 4 different types of directed writing if you're not clear about this. If you look at the comments, they are also in past tense. So that gives you a clue as to what tense to use. Here is the template for the report. I have a video providing templates for all the different types of directed writing, the report, review, article, and essay. Please go to that video and get all the templates from there. I have another video that is a quick revision of all the 4 different formats. That's also very useful if you want to revise just before the exam. Again, I'm going to put the link up here. So let's start with this template. This is for the most common question for an event that has already taken place. So this is the one that you should definitely memorize. So report, and then put the topic up here. Introduction, just underline it. Don't write anything else. So this report evaluates whatever attended by whoever on which date at the place, highlighting both positives and negative aspects and suggestions for improvement. So try to fill in as many of the above as possible, the what, where, when, why, how, and whatever is not relevant, just delete them. We're going to start with positive points in one paragraph, negative points in next paragraph, and then the suggestions in the last paragraph. So firstly, secondly, finally, and in every part, you would put in the point and the development. If you're not sure what development is, please watch my videos on report writing. I have 2 of them. I will put the link to one of them here. So here I've said that it is not necessary to have 3 points. If you can stop at 2 if you want. Same thing for negative points. However, furthermore, besides, and suggestions to improve future whatever event it is, there should be. So that's a modal verb. So include your point and development, point and development, and point and development. Again, you can stop at 2. So let's look at an example that uses this template.
Report, Sports Festival Introduction. This report evaluates the one-day sports festival attended by our class, 11A, on August 12, 2024, at the National Stadium. highlighting both positive aspects and areas for improvement. Positive points. Firstly, the event provided valuable insights into how fitness can enhance academic performance. Secondly, it motivated some of us to take up badminton regularly. Finally, it allowed us to connect with students from other schools, national and international. Negative points. However, the variety of sports was limited to football, badminton, basketball, and volleyball, which left many students wanting more diversity. Furthermore, the instructors' speeches were lengthy and uninspiring. Besides, the one-day duration was insufficient, as it did not allow us to fully explore the available activities. Suggestions. To improve future festivals, there should be a broader range of sports, such as rock climbing, archery, and fencing. Moreover, talks by instructors should be made shorter and more engaging. In addition, an extended duration would also greatly enhance the overall experience.
So the underlined parts are basically what I have filled in. In the template, these parts were empty, and I filled them in with my own details. So let's have a closer look. For positive and negative points, I have used past tense. You can see the ones in blue, they are past tense. And for suggestions, I would use modal verbs. So these are some modal verbs: should, can, would, may, will, and they are in orange. This is in orange, but it's not a modal verb, it's present tense. This is past tense because the festival is over. So the template is very easy to use. If you memorize it, you will have no problems during the exam. Let's look at type 2, which is reporting on a facility that still exists. So for example, the school library or canteen. And in this case, because the facility still exists, you would use present tense, at least for the first part of the report. So here we have your school is going to make some improvement to the school library. Your teacher has asked you to write a report about the school library. In your report, say what students think about the library now and suggest how the library could be improved. So here you can see that there's present tense here and modal verb, and present tense is being used in the comments. And that's why I would use present tense as well. So this is the template for type 2 report. So I'll have report up here again and name the facility. So you have to refer to the question to know what facility is being mentioned. So be flexible. If it's not a facility, but something similar, and you think you can use this template, then please do so. So in the introduction, we have this report evaluates the, so put the facility here, highlighting both positive and negative aspects and suggestions for improvement. So the positive and negative points are very similar to the previous template. So there's not much extra memorizing for you. All you have to remember is to use present tense in these two paragraphs instead of past tense, which I will show you later. And again, for suggestions, you will use modal verbs. So the only difference between this template and the previous one is this part here, the introduction. Just a slight difference. So let's look at a report that uses this template. So let's have a look at a report that uses the template that I just showed you. So the underlined parts were empty in the template, and now I filled them in with my own details.
Report. School Library. Introduction. This report evaluates the facilities and conditions of the school library, focusing on its strengths and weaknesses, as well as providing suggestions for improvement. Positive points. Firstly, the fast and reliable internet connection allows students to conduct their research efficiently. Secondly, the library has a vast collection of books catering to a wide range of interests and academic needs. Finally, its central location on campus makes it easily accessible for all students. Negative points. Recently, the library has become increasingly noisy. making it difficult for students to concentrate. Additionally, the seating is old and uncomfortable, which discourages prolonged study sessions. Lastly, the air conditioning is set too low, creating an uncomfortably cold environment for users. Suggestions. To enhance the library's environment, strict rules should be implemented to ensure silence. Furthermore, the seating should be replaced with newer, more comfortable furniture. Finally, the air conditioning settings should be adjusted to a more moderate temperature to improve comfort.
So let's have a closer look. In the second and third paragraphs, I have used present tense. You can see them in blue. And in the last paragraph, I've used modal verbs again. And these are modal verbs. Let's move on to type 3, which is reporting on a problem, for example, noise or lateness. And we use present tense because the problem still exists. And that is in the first part of the report. Second part, we will still use modal verbs. So you can see here, students at your school have been recently. Present tense affects and modal verb can. Again, present tense and modal verb. So that's why we're going to use present tense and modal verb in the suggestions. So the problem here is students arriving late to classes. Students at your school have been arriving late to classes recently. Your teacher has asked you to write a report about this, explaining how it affects your lessons and suggesting what you think can be done about it. So the comments are that our teacher has to repeat everything. It would be good if our lessons started later. So here we have a report and you would state the problem here. So in the introduction, we would say this report addresses the issue of, so what's the problem in, and you can give as much information as you can. Its negative impact on whatever it is and recommendations for tackling the problem effectively. So take this from the question. The question wants you to elaborate on the effect on lessons. So that's what you do. So we have same thing as the other templates, firstly, secondly, finally, and we have point and development for each part. Again, you can stop at 2, and this you have to use present tense. So we don't have positive and negative points in this template because this is a problem and therefore it is all negative. Suggestions to address this problem. You have point and development, point and development, point and development. So you can give 3 suggestions or you can stop at 2. Now, because we don't have positive and negative points, we are 1 paragraph short. So I would suggest including a conclusion. So resolving this issue is crucial as state the problem again here, negatively impacts and talk about the effect. So here we have a report that uses that template.
Report. Students arriving late to class. Introduction. This report addresses the issue of lateness among students in Class 11A, its negative impact on lessons, and recommendations for tackling the problem effectively. Effect on lessons. Firstly, the teacher often needs to repeat material for latecomers, causing boredom and frustration for the rest of the class. Secondly, this disrupts the overall pace of lessons, potentially preventing the syllabus from being completed before the next exam. Finally, this habit is influencing punctual students, who begin to question the importance of being on time. Suggestions. To address this problem, latecomers should face consequences, such as appropriate disciplinary actions to encourage punctuality. Moreover, parents should also be informed about the issue to help instill discipline at home. Additionally, a penalty system, such as deducting marks from exam papers, could be introduced to further motivate students to arrive on time. Conclusion. Resolving this issue is crucial, as persistent lateness negatively impacts the academic performance of students preparing for their IGCSE exams.
Now let's have a closer look. So I'm using present tense here because the problem still exists. Suggestions, I would use modal verbs again. In conclusion and introduction, I'm using present tense. This type of report is very rare. You should still be prepared for it, just in case it appears in your exam paper. So just to recap, we did 3 types of report today: reporting on an event that took place, reporting on a facility, and reporting on a problem. Reports should be very formal. If you're not sure what formal or informal means, I'm going to put a link up here to my video on the difference between formal and informal. I have made many more videos. Do go and check them out. I think I've got 78 videos now. If you have questions, leave them in the comment box below. And if you need tutoring, you can contact me here. Thank you very much for watching.